Welcome to From A to Z, a creator economy podcast, the podcast that explores the creator economy and its intersection with the world of Web3, cryptocurrency, DeFi, and NFTs. We are your hosts, Zombie Shepherd and ZFi, and we are thrilled to be bringing you this show in collaboration with BanklessDAO and its audiovisual guild. Our goal is to help bridge the gap between traditional media and the Web3 space by sharing insights, experiences, and strategies for success in this new era of content creation. As part of our mission, we are proud to announce our proposal to revitalize the AV Guild and ensure its long-term success. This strategic partnership will not only improve the quality and reach of AV content, but also create valuable learning opportunities for our current and future members. By upskilling our members and focusing on talent recruitment and retention, we can drive growth and support future partnership opportunities for BDAO while championing the values and possibilities of a bankless world. We're glad you're here with us. Today is May 1st, 2023, and this is episode 3. Join us as we touch grass, explore projects, tools, and uncover the impact of AI and automation in the creator economy. Welcome to the third episode of our podcast series on the creator economy. And today we'll be discussing the impact of AI and automation on content creation. ZFi, how you doing there?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing really good. So let's start by defining AI and automation and how they differ from traditional programming and automation.
Sure. Well, AI, artificial intelligence, refers to computer systems that can perform specific types of tasks that would typically require human intelligence, like visual perception, speech recognition, or decision making. So automation, on the other hand, is the use of technology to automate routine or repetitive tasks like data entry or assembly line work, something like that. The difference between AI and traditional programming and automation is that AI systems can learn and improve over time without being explicitly programmed by a human to do so.
That's a great explanation. Now, let's talk about how AI and automation are being used in the creator economy. There are visual art tools like DALL-E, Midjourney, and Blender AI, a number of emerging AI music generation services, and I am using AI mastering for my own songs. Nice. I use automation in Ableton, but I guess that would be considered more like programming automation because it's not learning at all. But I use that to change sound parameters and trigger samples and things like that. I'm not really using it in any of my social media workflows as far as like creating content, but I do use it as far as helping me to write and draft content. So that's one way that I'm plugging into it. My biggest use, though, would be through automated distribution of my music across various platforms via Lander, the one DSP that I use. Can you give some examples of content creation and distribution that are currently utilizing AI and automation?
Sure. There's a couple of examples of AI and automation being used in the creator economy already. So for a first one, there's text generators that can create articles or blog posts or even entire books without a human intervention. We've seen ChatGPT already has written a full book and it's for sale on Amazon. Crazy to think, but this is the world we live in. ChatGPT is probably the most recognized and probably the most used tool there. But a number of other platforms have also integrated those models into their own products, like Microsoft's Bing. They've got their the ChatGPT, the OpenAI augmented search, or Notion's incredibly robust content management tool. They've got embedded AI as well, also based on that GPT model. But there's also image synthesis tools that can create realistic images from scratch or alter existing images in various ways. So DALL-E, like you mentioned, was probably the biggest one, the first one in the media there. And by now, I think a lot of people have also heard of and seen Midjourney art, whether they've realized it or not. In video editing, AI-powered tools like Filmora can analyze footage and automatically select the best shots and create an edit based on that desired outcome. saving tons of time in editing. Or Synthesia can create a moving, speaking human model just from like a photograph and text input.
That's amazing. And it's really crazy to see these advancements in AI and the way it's changing automation technology so quickly, like in our lifetime. I sent you a video yesterday of something I saw on Instagram or TikTok or something that was an editing software that was auto editing a podcast because I think what it was doing, if you look at the video, is I'm pretty sure it was just editing whoever was talking. That's the view that they showed, and it was automatically clipping back and forth between two cameras based on whoever was speaking. So that was pretty amazing.
Watching it was crazy.
Crazy. And somebody in the video
runs through the file.
Yeah, somebody in the video is like, "That's amazing. I love AI." And then everyone in the comments is like quoting her. "I love AI, loses job." It gets fired.
For real. For real.
So what are some other potential benefits that you see in AI and content creation?
Definitely the time savings. I mean, that's the biggest, most obvious one to me. The biggest benefit to using AI in these content creation strategies is efficiency. You can do so much more in so much less time. Huge level ups. AI can process data much faster than we can. So it allows creators to create more content in less time with less of the heavy lifting. You just outsource all that, like you said, put it into an application, let it switch cameras, go write your next show. But since most creators like us do everything themselves, this type of level up can be hugely powerful. It can be as powerful as having a whole team of skilled help on standby whenever you need it. And as a channel grows, AI can also help with that scalability. It can be used to automate certain tasks, processes, gives the creators more time to focus on the more creative aspects of the content creation. Another potential benefit, personalization. AI can analyze data to tailor content to specific audiences or individual preferences, or even deliver material in a particular tone of voice.
Oh, that's a little scary.
Right.
But I guess, delivery is important, right? Yeah, that's really interesting. And so another interesting aspect of AI and automation is how they're being used to create new forms of content and distribution channels, things that maybe, we haven't seen before. But for instance, there are AI-driven content creation tools that can generate text, images, and video, like you said, but it's not just so in that way, it's not just aiding artists, it's actually giving power to anyone to tap into these new skills and mediums of communication that perhaps, they hadn't been able to do before. So on one hand, like, you were saying, like, if you're a person like us who's already kind of working on their own, it speeds up our workflow. We can now get more time back if we use AI to do some of our simple tasks. We were already not going to be able to hire someone to do these things. So we just got more time back realistically.
Right.
And then in some cases, like, hey, maybe you've never made a video in your life, but now you're going to be able to put a text prompt into AI and basically click a couple of choices. And now it's going to give you a video.
Or at least get you started.
Right. Get you. Yeah. Or like in the case of like PowerPoint videos, and like now it's able to do Excel sheets and other things like that. So what else can you tell us about that?
Oh, geez. AI and automation is being used today to generate contents in ways that were previously unimaginable, impossible. For example, we've got text generators that, like I said before, can write an entire book automatically and cite its source or its sources. There's the image synthesis tools that create original images based on certain criteria or the combo. If you haven't seen some of the latest examples, they're incredible. Some are legitimately indistinguishable from an actual photograph. And of course, there's the video editing tools that can automatically edit and compile footage just based on inputs or even an algorithm. It might know what is the best scene, and it's automatically tailored to that.
Man, it is amazing. I think it's good to note that some of these tools enhance the artist's existing skills, and some are automated where you just input a file and it spits out a polished product for you. and others are purely text prompt based on, and the AI just creates the whole thing based off of just ideas put into it and without even having any other like audio or visual source for it to reference, just the text. So how does AI and automation transform content distribution?
Well, we're familiar with the algorithms. We know that the algorithms are in full swing, but AI algorithms are also now being used to recommend and discover new content for users. So social media platforms use algorithms all the time, typically to surface content that is most likely to be engaged with or might have been paid for, but that can give creators more visibility and more opportunities to monetize their content. Additionally, AI-driven platforms and services can help creators distribute their content to new audiences. For example, there are tools like Descript that can transcribe and translate podcasts into any other language, allowing creators to reach entirely new global audiences.
That is really powerful. So a big downside, I would say, for a lot of these tools are the subscription fees, or there's a there's a limit to the amount of free prompts that you get. So that would keep people from experimenting with too many of these tools, being able to spread themselves too thin across it. But what impact do you think this will have on the income and the visibility for creators?
Tough question. But I think ultimately it's up to the creator to find that balance for themselves. I think you might have to try a dozen different tools just to find the best one or the best few that work for you and your processes, but you don't want to break the bank doing it. So keeping your tooling within your budget is going to be huge. If a creator can avoid dumping all of their income into these incredible new tools that are coming out, then these things really have the potential to increase visibility and to reach new audiences. And obviously, when you're doing that, that's just going to lead to more opportunities to monetize that content and increase that income over time. However, there is also a concern that AI and automation could lead to the saturation of the market, in turn making it harder for creators to stand out and make that living. That's where it's going to be important for creators to stay up to date on the latest trends, the latest tools in AI and automation so that they can adapt quickly and accordingly.
Yeah, those are great points. I think there's also a lot of ethical considerations to take into account when using AI in content creation. A lot of artists, especially visual artists, have raised concerns over the legitimacy of using their sources without direct consent from each artist. What I mean by direct consent is because in a lot of cases, this art was acquired via data sets that they acquired, and it wasn't directly asking each artist if they opted in, but they had probably in most cases opted in via the terms of service that they had agreed to, not realizing that this is a thing that might have happened by giving that consent. Others have raised concerns over the explicit and implicit biases that are built into the current digital systems. Can you expand on some of these concerns?
Sure. One concern is originality. So, for example, if AI is used to create content, who owns the right to that content? Is it the creator who trained the AI system or the AI system itself? Another concern, authenticity. If AI generated content, it might lack the emotional depth or the human connection that audiences crave. And then there's the issue of data ownership. Who owns that data? Who owns the data that the AI systems collect? Who owns the output from that AI system? These are all important ethical considerations that still need to be addressed as AI and automation become far more prevalent in the creator economy. We've already seen class action lawsuits and calls to pump the brakes based around ethics concerns globally. I don't think it's going to stop there.
Yeah, it's clear that AI and automation already have a significant impact on the creator economy, and I'm sure it's going to hit a lot of other types of economies as well. Another concern is that the AI systems can develop these implicit biases if the data used to train them is biased, or if the algorithm used to develop the system contains bias. For example, if facial recognition systems are trained on a data set that lacks enough diversity, then it'll have difficulty recognizing faces that don't fit the preconceived notion of what a quote unquote normal face might look like. Additionally, AI systems are used to make hiring decisions based on resumes, and those biases may already built into the software that they use to code that AI to start looking through the resumes. And so certain groups of people in the data set might not be represented, and there might be patterns of discrimination that start to arise. So it's important for the developers and users to be aware of these potential biases and to take additional steps to address these things, such as ensuring that diverse data sets are used regularly, auditing the algorithms for bias. And it's part of the reason I say, even with crypto and with AI and automation, and really with any emerging technology, I say that people should get involved with these things, because that's how you get represented in a thing, is by showing up. So in a lot of ways, like the more diverse people actually get into even using ChatGPT or any of these types of services, you are expanding the data set and the knowledge upon which it now has to pull from. Therefore, even these biases that might have been built in at the corporate level can start to get worked out as the AI gets smarter and starts to learn about other types of people through direct interaction. So what are other ethical considerations we should keep in mind when using these technologies?
That's a great question. One concern is that AI-generated content may lack originality or authenticity. In turn, could impact creators' ownership of their work. Additionally, there's a concern that AI-generated content could be used to spread misinformation or propaganda. Some jurisdictions like Italy have even banned tools like ChatGPT because of privacy and data security concerns. It even looks right now like France, Germany, and Ireland could be next to do the same. It's definitely important for creators to be transparent about their use of AI and automation, and for the industry to establish some ethical guidelines just to ensure that these technologies are being used responsibly.
Yeah, it's definitely with anything, but especially when we're talking about something as dangerous as, or potentially dangerous as AI, it's important to consider the potential benefits and drawbacks in content creation, distribution, and realistically, like in everyday life, you know? So these are really exciting developments. What do you think are the potential benefits and challenges that we're going to face as creators with AI and automation?
Ooh. Well, AI and automation can increase efficiency and enable creators to create new types of content. But they can also provide new distribution channels, like we discussed earlier. The downside is that the potential for job loss in the greater economy, as fewer human employees are reaching increasing levels of output, it's going to start creating concerns around job availability. There's a very real possibility that we see these tools end up having a direct impact on labor rights. Again, we're just talking about more potential ethical concerns here with authenticity and ownership.
Those are definitely important considerations. So let's talk more about the changing nature of work in the creator economy. With AI and automation taking over a lot of tasks, and it'll be more as time goes on, what do you think are the new opportunities and skill requirements that a creator is going to need?
Well, I think creators will need to become more familiar with the technology. They're going to need to be able to adapt to the new tools and all these new processes that are being developed, and rules that are being passed down by regulatory bodies. We're going to start seeing more and more of them, so it's going to factor into the equation. They're also going to need to focus on skills that can't be automated, like creativity and storytelling. Collaboration and working with AI tools is going to be important, but it can't be exclusive.
I totally agree with that. I see, like, within myself, the way I use these things is a lot like gasoline. I use it as a fuel for my creativity. And a lot of the times, if I get stuck, instead of allowing myself to be stuck, I'll use AI as like a, if I can get a quick paragraph out from AI, all of a sudden it woke up my creative brain to be able to like totally fix that paragraph. It's almost like you see it wrong and you know what you need to do right. So
Yep.
I think that allowing these things to spark your creativity rather than being a crutch that holds you back, like using it for the things that you don't want to do. Making social media posts can sometimes be very hard, and outsourcing that and then putting your human touch on it is a better than like beating yourself up over making a post and then not being able to keep up the consistency because it's so hard. So I think really outsourcing in a way that saves your like stress and your mental health and keeps you doing the fun part of the creative work. So yeah, as we see the AI and automation in the creator economy, it's important to consider the role of the human creators. So do you think that we're going to see AI and automation completely replace humans?
No, I don't think AI and automation will replace human creators, not completely. There's still going to be areas where human creativity and emotion are essential, and these bots just can't get there yet. However, creators will need to find ways to work alongside AI tools and take advantage of their benefits.
That's true. And I think that we're going to see less people. It is definitely going to take some jobs. And the people who work with these tools the best will be the ones that probably rise to the top. So I think collaboration between humans and AI will be the key to success in the future of work in this creator economy. So speaking of success, which strategies do you think that creators can adapt to succeed in this quickly evolving landscape?
Well, first, they're going to need to be proactive. They need to be proactive in learning about and using these new AI and automation tools. Without practice, you won't know what's the right tool to use when you're faced with the situation where you need that tool. They're also going to need to find their niche and differentiate themselves from others. You got to build a strong brand and build a strong community, and these things are going to become more important than before. And creators are going to need to focus on creating content that's authentic and ethical, despite the challenges, the potential challenges being posed by these tools.
Yeah, those are all really great points. It's important for creators to stay informed and adapt to new technologies while also keeping their values and ethics in mind at all times. To me, like that's why you move into these spaces, is to bring your values and your ethics and your take on everything. So yeah, creators, what they can do is stay informed and experimenting with the latest developments in AI and automation, and be proactive in learning new skills and help them, just stay competitive, not just in the job market, but even in, just being able to utilize these things. Like, even if it's just for fun, I think that added skill, you might only use a tool one time, but that little benefit, something you learn from it can apply somewhere else. So
Sure.
additionally, like, creators can advocate for policies that protect their rights and ensure fair compensation for their work. By staying informed and taking action, we can all help shape the future of the creative economy in a positive way. And the only way you can actually do that is if you are well informed and you know what you're talking about because you've used these things and you're plugged in.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time for the creator economy with all these things at our fingertips. And I think we're still going to continue to see advancements in both AI and in automation that will both challenge and empower creators like us.
Yeah, like labor rights in this automated future is an important issue that we're going to need to address. And one concern is that AI and automation could lead to job displacement, particularly for workers in sectors such as music, film, and visual arts. And additionally, there is a risk that AI and automation could be used to replace human creativity entirely, leading to a loss of diversity and originality in the creative industries. With the increasing use of these tools in the creator economy, what are some of the implications that you see with labor rights?
Oh, geez. Well, it's clear that the use of these tools have the potential to disrupt the traditional labor model in the creator economy. We're going to see it not just in the creator economy, like we mentioned before, but spreading across industries. There may be many potential benefits to creators, including increased efficiency, new forms of content creation. But we also must consider the potential downsides, like job loss and a decrease in labor rights. It's going to happen. We need to be able to prepare for it and essentially fight against it.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen it with the gig economy that, the risk that creators will be classified as independent contractors. And then it led to a lack of health benefits and job security. And it's just going to be further exacerbated by AI and AI automated products. So this could lead to even more precarious working conditions and a lack of financial security for creators. And there's also a risk that these things will be used to devalue creative work entirely, leading to lower pay across the board and less respect for a creator's contribution. So what are your thoughts on that?
It is definitely a concern. We need to make sure that these creators have access to basic benefits like healthcare or paid time off or retirement savings, things you need to live a life. And we also need to make sure that they have legal protections, that they can be and are being treated fairly under the law.
Yeah, that's a great point. And one area where we're seeing that impact is in the music industry, where tools are just being used to generate music, which could potentially displace human musicians. And we've seen it where a lot of these tools are directly copying people like Drake and The Weeknd and things like that. So you're actually stealing someone's personality, their intellectual property of who they are. So, and that's been kind of going on for years. If you go back, synthesizers, MIDI computers, tape dubs, sequencers, even fancy guitar pedals, and now with virtual synths and these electric DAWs at like Ableton that allow like automation within the programs. And every layer of musical tech has made it easier for a musician to work by themselves and not need other people. So whether it's in a live or recorded session, bands have gotten smaller. One person can do a lot all by themselves. So being able to prompt music from a text, an image, or inputs like humming and tapping, and this is like the final barrier to anyone being able to produce studio quality music with just an idea and no skills whatsoever other than having an idea. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's all still so new, but I think it's all cool. I like playing with these tools. It's certainly a controversial topic, though. I'll play with these tools knowing that, hey, this could have some impacts down the line. I mean, like you'd mentioned, a lot of our viewers may have listened to or heard the recent AI-generated dance track that was a mishmash. It was like a combo of a Metro Boomin beat, Drake vocals, and a feature of The Weeknd. It shocked a lot of people to see how far this AI stuff's already come, but it was definitely still recognizable as AI-generated content. So while it can be impressive, while this type of thing can be very impressive, there's still that question of whether it can ever truly replace the creativity and emotional depth of human musicians. I don't think it can, at least not yet.
Grimes
if it does become more common, we just need to make sure that human musicians are still able to make a living and able to pursue their art.
Right. Yeah. So Grimes is actually doing something interesting with the AI stuff because she's doing a thing where you can use, I think it's an AI generation of her voice, and you can use it on your song. And I think they're doing it. I know Riff App is doing something with it, but so basically like she will let anybody use it and release the song, but I think she wants 50% or something like that. But it's an interesting,
that sounds about right.
But it's interesting because that's an artist saying like, oh, these tools are going to come. People are going to do it anyway. I may as well give you permission and get half instead of telling you no and getting nothing and having you breaking copyright laws. And like, we know people are going to break the rules. It's kind of like it's always happened from Napster to YouTube and even if you go back to like tapes and stuff like that, like people have always been pirating and doing whatever they want with music to some degree. So we're just going to see a lot more of that happening. And so but you're right about the creativity part. That's a really crucial point, that music theory will provide the tools for AI to create the music, but a human will have to respond to it, and so will humans respond to this music in the same way, or are we going to find it to be kind of vapid? We also need to consider like that impact of the same impact on visual arts and photography and graphic design, as being able to, create images from prompts or instantly alter an image to a different style, or it's going to make it easier to produce art in every style. Editing and color grade and general enhancements can now be done with the click of a button. So that's a whole layer of photography specialists that now no longer have a job. And that was already coming with a lot of the filters on social media and stuff like that. But now it's getting better and better because it's right there in your Adobe. So I don't know. What are some of the implications that you see here?
First thing that's coming to mind is off the color grade and the color enhancements and things. Even in the free software that I use for editing, DaVinci Resolve, you can download just color packs. It's a preset. You get this same color for a particular scene and just apply it automatically.
Right.
It's not AI, but it's, it's that closer to automation, closer to that preset model. But there's certainly a risk, there's certainly a risk that these tools could make it easier for creators to produce content quickly and cheaply, driving down prices and making it more difficult for professional artists to compete. But I think there's also a potential for AI and automation to democratize the visual arts by making it easier for new creators to enter the field.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. We could see a proliferation of new concepts and ideas enter the space as non-visual artists enter the field attempting to create images that can only be dreamed of by someone who doesn't really know the rules. Orson Welles claims this about his genius behind directing Citizen Kane. He claims to have achieved things that no one else had attempted because he didn't know that they couldn't be done. So I feel like every new wave of tech brings in new waves of innovation with it, and this will create new forms of art entirely, similar to like how hip hop came from people scratching records and using records in a way that they weren't supposed to be used. They weren't even intended to be used this way, and a whole new thing came out of it. So we'll probably see that with AI and automation as well. It's like you make the tools to do one thing, but what do people actually do with the thing? And that's where the creativity comes in. So we have covered a lot of the risks and the challenges, but what other opportunities do you think we should be talking about?
Well, we've touched on a few, and I think that there are many potential benefits, but increased efficiency, probably the most apparent. They also provide, these tools can give us the ability to create new types of content, new distribution routes, and the potential for AI-driven platforms to connect creators with new audiences in new ways. We just need to make sure that we're taking a thoughtful and responsible approach to these technologies, and that we're putting the needs and the rights of creators first.
Absolutely. That's an excellent point. So I personally see the benefits to being able to work by myself from start to finish on a musical project if I choose to, using automation in my electronic instruments, then audio engineering and AI doing the mastering and the artwork, also helping me to translate my production notes and my just lyrics and stuff like that into song explanations and refined artist statements and press releases. Like it helps me get a lot of that, like just grunt work together. And so the visual art, like if Gerline's not going to help me with it, then I can also do that with AI. So for me, it's really cool being able to kind of do things on my own and not feel like I have to wait for anybody. So I don't think tools have to hurt. They don't hurt my creativity. So it's an unlock that's made new layers of how I think about my own processes, and it's allowed me to move faster on my own. So if I'm not able to pay other collaborators or get anybody to work with me, then I can just keep moving and nothing really slows me down. So as we wrap up this segment, what are some key takeaways that you think we should be giving to our listeners?
Well, I think it's important for creators and consumers alike to stay informed about the latest developments in AI and automation, and to be aware of the potential risks and benefits. We need to be proactive about addressing the challenges of the creator economy and work together to create a more equitable and sustainable future for all creators.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's true. So let's do like a quick recap of everything. So we started off by discussing the definitions of what AI and automation are and how they differ from traditional programming and automation. And then we looked at the advancements that have kind of come about in the last 6 months and just how quickly it's going, and a lot of the potential benefits, the impact, and how this is going to change content creation, scalability, and personalization.
Yes. Then we moved on to discussing how AI and automation are being used to create new forms of content and distribution channels. We talked briefly about the role of algorithms in content recommendation and discovery, and how these tools are transforming content distribution. In addition, we explored the potential impact on creators' income and visibility.
Right. And then that brought us into the future of work and the creator economy and the opportunities and challenges that we face in light of these upcoming changes with AI. We examined all the potential benefits, or at least a lot of the potential benefits as we see it, to AI and automation for creators, and a lot of the challenges around job loss, labor rights, and ethical concerns like displacement and the ingrained biases, and the potential strategies that creators can adapt and adopt in succeeding in this evolving landscape.
Yes, and finally, we looked at real-world examples of AI and automation in the creator economy, including content creation, curation, distribution. We assessed the implications of AI and automation on different sectors of the creator economy, such as music, film, visual arts, and the potential of these tools to impact policy changes and regulations. Balancing innovation and the rights of creators in an AI-driven creator economy was also part of the conversation, with a focus on making sure that we protect and support creators.
That's right. And so as we wrap up the episode, we want to remind our listeners to stay informed about the impact of AI and automation on your field and just the creator economy in general. Advocate for policies that protect workers' rights in the face of these technological changes. Government regulation and company policies could just as easily be used to hurt creators as it is to empower us. So it's important to acknowledge the potential benefits and challenges that these things are going to face. And we need to all encourage each other to stay informed, not be afraid of these things, but stay informed, stay ahead of the ball, and adapt.
Great point. It's a great point. There's so much potential for AI and automation to improve the creator economy and the economy on whole. But it's important to make sure that they are not left behind. These creators need to be protected and empowered as the landscape changes. So that's a call to action for our listeners to support and champion the democratization of content creation in the age of AI and automation.
Right. I encourage everyone to continue to champion diversity, support emerging creators, and be part of this conversation around AI by tapping into these tools, the ones that help you the best, as well as Web3 tools, DAOs, decentralized social media, and whatever else helps you take control of your creative lifestyle. And together, we can build a more vibrant and inclusive creators ecosystem.
I love that. Well, we've come to the end of our show here today. For our viewers and our listeners, some ways that you can take action on this information today include staying informed by signing up for newsletters on AI or creator economy trends, sharing this episode to raise awareness of AI's impact, attending webinars or workshops on AI and content creation, engaging with creators to learn their perspectives on AI, and supporting legislation that protects creators' rights in an AI-driven economy. And of course, if you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe for more discussions like these, and leave us a comment or a question below. Anything I'm missing today, Zombie?
Yeah, man. I mean, just click all the buttons, y'all. Hit them. And yeah, don't forget to join us for Zombie Time Music Hour every Monday at 8 p.m. and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can collect some of my music on Lens Protocol. And then besides that, all of these episodes and audiograms are 18% fee goes right back to the BanklessDAO treasury. So don't forget to hashtag like, mirror, comment, collect on Lens Protocol.
Absolutely.
Yep. So thanks for joining us, friends, and we'll see you again next time.